Hello guys, Clarky1991 here. 5 years ago I made a video where I worked out how much it would cost to buy a whole Space Marine company. Given that I was in the process of creating my own chapter at the time, I was intrigued to see what the damage would be if I wanted to go the full hog and replicate the company that was included in the Space Marine Codex at the time. For reference, that company I used in the last video included the following: 4 Devastator squads, 4 Assault Marine squads, 1 Command squad, 1 Commander, 2 Dreadnoughts, and finally 6 squads of Tactical Marines. Once I added all the components that I could find at the time, it came to the pricely sum of around £330. Please bear in mind though, this wasn't using the GW website, but the website Whaling Games, which provided a discount on the models. For those very early subscribers, I actually bought my army through these guys back in the day. Considering that 5 years has now passed, and with the introduction of a new, shiny, out from the middle of nowhere in terms of lore Primaris Marines, I thought it'd be good to go back and see what the damage would be this time around if I wanted to do the same and pull the trigger on a full company of Marines. Having picked up the new Space Marine Codex as I get back into the hobby, I'll be using the Ultramarine second company as a basis for this video, as this is the company that is broken down and illustrated in the latest version of the Codex. Much like the original video, I won't be using the GW website for this, but instead another online retailer. This time, I'll be using the website Element Games, who are a great web store that provides excellent discount on not only GW products, but other companies' models, games, and hobby supplies as well. They're also relatively local to myself in the northwest of England, and I'm looking to arrange a visit at some point to get some new bits and bobs. In addition to this company doesn't include the new Vanguard Marines which were recently released as part of a Shadow Spear box set. So, no doubt, and depending on when you're watching this, there could be a new version of the Codex out, and as such the content may vary. Just something to note. In addition to this, another thing to note is in regards to the way GW sells its boxes of minis. There are some squads that come in either 5 or 10 model increments. As such, there'll be some leftover models when we compile the full list. I thought, as you actually can't buy half squads in the real world, I'll keep them in this video at their full price, as ultimately you'd need to buy the full boxes anyway if you were to do the same and buy this company. Without further ado, let's see what the damage will be this time around. Let's start off with the company leadership. The Codex states that the company leadership is comprised of a Space Marine Commander, company veterans, 2 lieutenants, one of which is Primaris, a chaplain, an apothecary, and a company ancient. In order to do this, I've used the Space Marine Company Command box set, then a Primaris Captain, Apothecary, and Chaplain get added into the mix. This might not be the best way to do it, but one which leaves me with the right amount of minis and fits in with the inclusion of the new Primaris range. Let me know in a comment down below how you would configure the company leadership as detailed out in the Codex. On to the easier buys. The 1st, 2nd, 5th and 6th squads are Tactical Marines, which, by the looks of some of the battle reports I've been seeing on YouTube, is now a rather rare sight to see within most armies nowadays. Moving on to the new shiny-ish Primaris Marines, the 3rd, 4th and 11th squads are 5-man intercessors. As I mentioned earlier, due to the way GW sells these minis, I'll have to buy 2 boxes to fulfill the requirement of 15. The 7th and 12th squads detailed out in the Codex are the Assault Marines. As such, 4 boxes of Marines are required for this one. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, they were sold out, but the cost of the models will be added to the cost at the end. The 8th is a 3-man Interceptor squad. Now to me, these look like floating Terminators, and I wasn't wholly sold at first, but the look of them are slowly growing on me. The 9th is a 10-man Devastator squad, so it's 2 boxes of these going into the basket. The 10th squad is the Hellblasters, who are my favourite looking Primaris Marines to date, with the updated poses and vented masks that look more tactical and dangerous on the tabletop. This is another squad that will have some leftover due to the way GW sells these minis. Lastly, the good old trusty Dreadnoughts. The second company has 2. The first, the ye olde faithful old school Dreadnoughts, which, by the way, is my all-time favourite mini, and then an Ironclad Dreadnought joins it. This brings us to the end, and as such for the big reveal. The grand total is, without those Assault Marines, £379.95. With the inclusion of those Assault Marines, it takes us to £449.63, just shy of 450 quid. This is roughly £130 difference between the companies in between the 2 different codices. Now, there are probably several reasons as to why there are such differences, one simple one being potentially just being the cost of production increasing over that 5-year span, but I won't delve too deep into the pricing model that GW deploys, as that's a whole different kettle of fish. This video was just a bit of fun and something I thought would be cool to see the difference between the two companies detailed out, especially with the inclusion of the Primaris Marines coming into the fore. I've also always loved the idea of owning a full company of my own chapter for Screaming Eagles. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you think this demonstrates good value, or if you had the money, what else would you spend it on? Anyway, I hope you liked the video, and if you did, leave a comment, a like itself, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Anyway, this is Clarkling 1991 signing out, and I'll see you in the next one.